it was a great learning curve for me. I mean, like, I don't. The only credit I can take for the development of the character was to try and take the episode that was in front of me and try and make sense of it, because each one I went, no, this isn't the character. This isn't the last character I played, and then I jump in there, and then the next time it would be, well, golly, this is what do I do with this guy now? So he just became more dimensional as they wrote him. So it's the writers who put that together, um, and the only credit I can take for where the character developed was, I guess, I managed to satisfy each sort of growth episode for the character. So,
Absolutely.
and it would, I, I think, like I think I said this before, for me, he was always a bit problematic for me as a military man,
Hmm.
because I've never thought of myself as the straight-shouldered sort of um, stick in the mud kind of guy. Um, and so once I was able to lose the military costume, the character really started to change a lot. Well, I think that's where I started to get really comfortable.
He was
Um,
no longer supposedly bound by those um, rules and regulations. You didn't really know where he was coming from. You didn't know if he was going to stab you in the back or if he was going to save your life.
yeah,
And I think that there is there's just an aspect of that is absolutely delicious to watch on screen. Because it's like, where's he going to go? We don't know. We're going to have to
yeah,
watch and find out. You can't peg him, and
yeah.
frankly, in Stargate, there's a lot of defined parameters. There is good, there is evil, but not with Maybourne. And I think that's one of the reasons that fans find him so delicious.
Well, I really enjoyed him, and it was whatever. I don't know the episode numbers or anything,
Hmm.
but when they found him frozen,
Watergate, yes.
yeah, yeah, Watergate, and when I came out of that and was in prison, and when he sentenced to hang,
Yeah.
when he comes to get information from me, that's when one that's I remember that's when we actually started to play. It became play then. I didn't have to stick with what I thought I should do as a military guy. um, there was a sort of a personal point to it rather than a professional point.
Was
Mayborn,
there
yeah.
a relaxation with Rick on set? Not that like the relax the work wasn't getting done. Obviously, the work was getting done and it was great. But was there a more uh, what kind of a set? Because he was a producer as well as just an actor.
Mhm.
He was the executive producer of the show. What kind of a set did he engender?
Well, it was always great coming there. Every That whole cast was really quite lovely, and quite lovely. They were lovely. They just from day one they welcomed me like I was part of the family. And whenever I came back, they seemed to be really excited, so, and like open arms. Oh God, you're back! Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, now RDA is not quite that effusive, but
Correct.
he he was he was great to be on set with, because there was always because he was always at the same time entertaining himself. He was always enjoying himself until they said. Then I found out that maybe, well, as things progressed over the years, maybe he wasn't enjoying himself as much. But um, uh, he was always respectful. He was always a little on the challenging side. Um, uh, they'd say rolling, and he'd still be goofing off like hell, and then suddenly you were there,
Mm-hmm.
and you were shooting the scene, and it sort of forced one to relax and just go, well, what it's going to be. Um, uh, you can't sort of, well, you work your ass off on your own, on these parts. And then you get there, and of course, you don't know where the camera is going to be. You don't know how they're going to block it. So you have a little fast little thing going on, and then away they go and they shoot it. And it's often it's nothing the way you imagined it, or the alternatives you were thinking about. And then you get stuff coming from Richard Dean that is absolutely unexpected.
Not on the
And
script, on the page at all.
well, it can be on the page as
Okay.
well, but it's coming at you in a way that you never expected. And I think that's see, he might have been teaching me. Look, come on, get that plug out of your ass and let's just play. Now I'm not sure. He never said anything like that, but it really did. Over the years, it did teach me how to relax when you get on set. Now it's really tough if you haven't been on a set for a while. Like the first 2 days, you're just nervous as hell because you don't want to make a mistake. I think I'm getting old enough now that I can make a mistake and laugh about it, and hopefully everybody else will laugh as well. But you're always frightened that someone's going to scream at you, because that has been known to happen.
Time is money.
It happen. It's not necessarily screamed at me, but I've been on sets where there's been some screaming. Yeah.
I think the thing with Richard Dean is that you can expect from and this is just, I'm just delineating what everyone has said about him. You can expect professionalism, you can expect the work to get done, but you can also expect a heck of a lot of spontaneity that makes the work not only enjoyable on the set, but also enjoyable to watch. And we as fans are sitting there going, was that an ad lib? That feels like that was not meant to be there. And then your reaction to that is kind of like, like you're reacting, like almost like he's saying something and going, what do you think of that? Let's see you tap dance to that.
No, yeah, I think he did when he would ad lib. It was take that. What are you going to do now?
For sure.
And I think he loved the look on my face when what do I do?
And that's also Maybourne, he's assessing the situation.
Yeah.
You never know how he's going to handle it. I have some questions from fans.
Sure.
Tom, looking back, what was perhaps a favorite moment that you had from production with Richard, with Amanda, with this cast? Most of your work was with Rick. What was really a favorite scene to make? Elizabeth Lee wants to know.
My favorite one with Rick was when we were whatever the name of the episode was, where we're eating the grass stuff and we turn into crazy people and start shooting each other. There was the scene where he's down fishing.
Yes.
And I come down and ask how he's doing, and he says, well, he's got a nibble, but hasn't caught anything. And I reach into my pocket and pull out some plastic explosive and just throw it into the water, and it explodes, and all these fish float to the top. And
that's wrong on so many levels.
It was all scripted, and then I'm supposed to go in and get the fish and start to bring them back. And my favorite, because it was me getting a chance to do something he wasn't expecting, was I got out there, and by this time I'm feeling quite comfortable on set with Richard. So I get out there to get the fish, and I'm walking. I think I'm about waist deep. I'm picking up these floating fish, and I just start to throw the fish at him, rather than picking them up and gathering them and bringing them back, and him ducking the fish. And then, but one of my favorites, and it was the same episode, or the one following Watergate, where we're at Bobby Cox's house he's playing the senator.
Yes, Ronnie Cox.
Yeah, and Ronnie Cox, yes, and it's the end of that scene where he's got me out of jail to help him do this thing, and then somehow I've disappeared, and he gets a phone call, and it's from me, and you can hear they show me on the other end of the phone, and we've taken English Bay down here, and they've put up some fake palm trees, and they've hired all these extras, all the dark black extras they can find, and they ask them to dress in sort of a Jamaican kind of way, and they've got a Jamaican drum band down on the beach playing, and I'm on a phone up at the top of the up at the hill above the beach, and I'm talking to them and saying, thank you, we'll see you, everything's fine, and I'm wearing a big straw hat. I've got Bermuda shorts on with socks, the high white socks, and the sandals, and a Hawaiian shirt. And I hang up and I walk down the beach, and I'm just supposed to walk down to the. I think the last shot of the episode
Uh-huh.
is supposed to walk down to the beach towards the drum set, and I don't know, I get about 20 feet down from the camera, and this girl crosses my path, so I just grab her and start to dance with her, uh, and we dance all the way down to the drum band, to the steel drum band, and when they find, no one said cut, so we just kept going and going and going, and finally they said cut, and everybody just went a little crazy. They thought it was just quite lovely, so it's one of those things where you say, well, God, I never planned anything like that. Um, I was brave enough to do it, and it wasn't scripted, and it worked.
It's the spirit of the character in that moment, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Oh, yeah.
just he's been snatched from the jaws of death,
Yeah.
and he's happy.
So they're little sort of little hallmarks for me about my growth as an actor in this business, um, and that freedom to do that kind of stuff that is still part of the script,
Mm-hmm.
and acceptable, and it's actually some of the stuff that they kind of look for,
Mm-hmm.
off the scripted page. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's David. Hope you're enjoying the clips during the break. We will be returning in the spring. In the meantime, are you good with English? Are you one of those people who take pride in your grasp of it? Well, we have a great team over here transcribing the backed catalog of Stargate interviews and have dozens more to go. If you're interested in joining me and a small Stargate diehard community looking to preserve the stories brought to Dial the Gate into text form, then please email me at dialthegateshow@gmail.com. There's a little something in it for you, and you'll be helping to pass along the stories to future generations of fans who have yet to discover the show. Thanks so much for watching Dial the Gate.